Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Ramuzzi. I hope everyone's doing well. I miss all of you so much. Um, so we started yesterday reviewing something that we left off with before we left for school, which was talking about main idea and supporting details of a piece of writing. So the video that I showed you yesterday gave a really good explanation of the difference between the two and how to go about finding each of those things in our reading. So I chose the day off, the one that you see here on the screen, as a little practice that we're going to go through, kind of like the video did yesterday. So I'm going to read the passage first, and then we're going to go back and we're going to talk about what the most important point the author is trying to make when he's writing this. Okay, which is, of course, like they said in the video yesterday, is how we find out the main idea. So here we go. The day off. There was no school today. John leapt out of bed before his mother called him. There wasn't a moment to lose. He gobbled down a bowl of cereal for breakfast, grabbed his skateboard, and headed for the park. He spent all morning with his friends. He went home for a hot lunch, way better than the cold sandwich he always had to take to school. And then he went out on his bike. He rode all around town, enjoying the wind in his face. He pretended his bike was a horse, a race car, a spaceship. He hated to come home for dinner. His free day was over. Tomorrow he would have to go back to school. Okay, they gave us an example of trying to figure out what the most important point is in this passage, and by trying to figure out who the topic is first. So we can see that John is the who, and the topic is about how he feels about his day off, okay, from school. So that should help us a little bit. You see this question on the right hand side, what is the main idea? They're giving us three choices here. So like I said, it's about John, so that's in all three choices, so that's really not going to help us as far as figuring out which one is the correct one. But in the passage it said, it gives us all these details about what he did on this day off. So, and the fact was, it looked like he had a lot of fun. So, I would think that the main idea we're going to get from that is that C, John enjoyed his day off. Now, down here it says write down at least one supporting detail, but I'm actually going to take my little highlighter here, and I'm going to try and see if I can figure out what the what some of the details might be that might support this if we choose C. So there was no school today. It seems like he's, starting that off. This passage is starting off with giving us a little background information about what we're going to read about. Um, if I come down here, he spent all morning with his friends, and we all know how we feel about friends. So, I would assume that this is a good detail that's going to support that he's enjoying himself. He went home for a hot lunch, and he seems to like that better than the cold lunch, right? Okay. And rode all around town, enjoying the wind in his face. He pretended his bike was a horse, a race car, a spaceship, has a nice imagination. He didn't want to even go home for dinner. Okay, so all of these that I highlighted here are considered supporting details that are going to justify us choosing C, the fact that he enjoyed his day off. Okay, so when we look for a main idea, whether it be in a fiction story like this one is, and we talked about the difference between fiction and nonfiction, or if we're talking about, or if we're reading a nonfiction piece of writing, which of course is factual, we still go about the same process. We look for the most important point the author is trying to make when writing. That usually points us to our main idea. And then we think about, okay, what is the topic? What's the person, place, or thing that's being written about? So obviously in this fiction story, it was about John. If you were reading nonfiction, say about, I don't know, about dogs, for example, they would be the things that they would be the thing that the author is writing about. So you always have a topic, no matter if it's fiction or nonfiction. Okay, so now I'm going to have you try one like we did yesterday, and we'll see how that works out. Okay. All right, boys and girls, miss you. Can't wait to see you. Maybe we're going to try and organize a Google Meet for us to try and say hello to one another. And so enjoy the rest of your day, and just reply to me in a comment if you're having any trouble, or have your parents email me as usual. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay, so let's see how that came out. Oh, I didn't upload it to. I'm gonna have to delete this. Damn it. Let's remove it. No good. So when I do, let's see. No. Where was it? No, I lost it. Bitch, bitch, bitcha, 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 bitcha.